Chris Aceto, RXMuscle.com. We just came out of the finals of the Tampa IFBB Pro competition. I got Ben, retired Pac-Man with a test level on par with mine to my right. And we got John Hansen, who's been retired forever and is natural, so he's probably like fertile and with the test level like 400 to my left.
You never know.
Let's just start right from the top, which is Josh Lenartowicz from Australia comes to the show. We all live on, to some degree with our busy lives. We're still on Instagram, and he looks like miles off, possibly 3 weeks out. But at the same time, Ben, you would know better than me, or you prep people and you prep yourself.
Yep.
As wildly off as he looks huge, and he looks very in striking distance for somebody who actually knows how to struggle and get down there. What was your assessment of the win for Josh Lenartowicz?
He looks the most confident up there, and that shows. He's obviously got the most muscle. The guy's amazingly genetically blessed. Obviously, he knows he was a few weeks off, but I think he just came in here to sneak out a win. Didn't want to push it too hard because he knows he's got 6 weeks to Olympia. He wasn't expecting anybody to push him, which they really didn't. Max and he were maybe close, but I think there was a pretty big gap there. So Josh did what he needed to do to win, man. I mean, ultimately, why would you do any more? Ultimately, maybe you want to argue that you always want to come in perfect shape. But to come in perfect shape multiple times, getting ready for the Olympia, you're just asking for trouble, man. You're asking for illness, you're asking for injury, and it's very, very hard to do, very strenuous in your body. So,
How hard is it to peak for multiple shows? Because I think this is the smartest thing I've heard is, you're asking for trouble when you do multiple shows and try to nail it running into an Olympia. It's happened to a lot of people where they've, come into shows and we've all said, okay, they're going to be, top 5, and then Olympia rolls around and what happens?
They suck. Well, that was my biggest criticism from the sport around during my career was, Ben, why don't you compete more? I'm like, well, because I want to fucking live past bodybuilding, right? Ultimately, sir, I want to live past bodybuilding. So I competed once a year because you realize that it takes a huge toll on your life. It takes a huge toll on your body, your kidneys, all these things. Like, we know we're pushing the envelope. We're training. Even just training in itself is extremely taxing to your nervous system, your digestive tract, all these things. And these guys know that, or at least they should. And the less you have to stress that, the better you can look at the Olympia. There's a reason Phil Heath chooses to do one show a year. There's the reason the top guys choose to do that one show a year. It extends their career.
What about Maxx Charles, who won this show a couple years ago? What do you think of Max coming in there in second place?
He looked really good. I think he could have been a little bit sharper.
Was his glutes and hams peeled like Ben Pakulski?
No. And like what Ben said, I thought Josh showed that winning attitude. He had the one posing routine that really connected with the audience.
Very, very connect with the audience.
Yeah.
Dorian-esque, like with, you know what I mean? Like a lot of hard muscle and choreographed to boom, boom, boom.
Right, and that was one thing I was disappointed with most of the guys. 90% of them didn't have a good posing routine that connected, and he did. And he acted like a winner from the very beginning. He had a good attitude on stage. And I think the size difference that he showed from the Olympia last year was very noticeable.
Yeah, very interesting. He's a lot more size, less condition, but it obviously works very, very well for him. What did you think of Maple Leaf co-Canadian Henri Pierre Ano from Africa?
The guy has man, you're doing his prep. The guy's genetics are ridiculous. He just needs about 20 pounds more muscle to be one of the top guys in the world. I think his back is wider than anybody in the sport right now. Hips and waist are tiny, and just his legs need some size and needs some overall thickness.
If he came down to M140, what's the name of your gym?
MI40.
Is it better than carbon monoxygen, oxygen gym, or no?
Of course. Well, yeah, inevitably. We're the best in the world at training, man. But truthfully.
Well, my point is, what if he came down, and I think 20 is a stretch. Could you put 10 on him? That's a serious question.
Dude, I'll give
in a week. I'm just kidding.
7 days. We're going to a new protocol. No, truthfully, man, if he came down to, I told him, if he came down to me for 4 months, we put 20 pounds on before he gets on stage again.
Where would he place with 20 pounds in the Olympia? 20 pounds.
Top 6, probably.
Yeah. If Chris Aceto can do his job and nail his condition.
I mean, the whole point is, that's why I asked you, can you? Because if he put on 10, he's in the contention for the top 6 at the Olympia, easy. 10.
No, it's more than 10.
Really? 11? Okay.
11.6.
So 4th place is Anwin, or did the oxygen kid come in? We don't even know his name.
Kid.
Yeah.
Boo.
Yeah, who was 3rd here last year. So it shows you the depth of the show. What do you think of his physique?
okay. I mean, I thought the top three were the
But what do you lack?
I've got some opinions on his physique, man. I actually think he had a really good physique. I just didn't think he showed it very well. I think he was very unprofessional with his posing. I think if someone actually taking some time to spend, push him through some poses so he can actually hold him, he actually squeeze it.
You're a perfectionist.
Fucking right I am. Why wouldn't I be? Yeah, man. I mean, I think he could have moved up at least one spot and maybe even been fighting with Maxx. He just didn't show his body well. No confidence. His posing was very poor. I saw him in my gym a couple of days ago. I was like, fuck it, this guy actually pulls himself.
Paper thin skin.
Oh, yeah, he looked awesome.
Yeah.
I was like, if someone actually pulls this guy together, he could look amazing, but he almost looked like he got worse.
Yeah, he did look worse. I saw him in the gym 3 days ago and said, wow. Fifth was An Nguyen.
An Nguyen, yeah.
He's got the Trump hair. And he made some improvements. What do you think of An's physique?
I think he's very thick, very impressive, just not in condition. I don't know if he spilled over from the prejudging. I didn't see the prejudging, but I was actually surprised to see him as high as fifth, but he's got a lot of potential if he comes in a little harder.
What do you think of Baby Huey?
Is that on?
Reagan.
So, quickly speak about On, man. Guy's beautiful physique.
I agree.
And he presented it well.
Totally.
And Regan, man, I think you and I agree. For Regan, the sky's the limit, but he's a baby. Could have been a little bit tighter, but
Can he beat Boston Lloyd?
I honestly couldn't tell you what.
Does he take as much as?
I couldn't tell you what Boston Lloyd looks like, to be honest. I hear the guy's name everywhere, but I have no idea. If I walk past him,
I only know it from Dave on RXMuscle because Dave used to do his diet.
Right.
Who was overlooked here? Anyone overlooked?
What about our dark horse,
Who was the dark horse?
who we talked about the other day?
I don't know. Who was the dark horse? Rashid Oldaker.
Rashid, yeah.
Yeah, was he overlooked? I have some.
Guy's got incredible potential. Ronnie Coleman type thickness. Again, another one that needs posing experience. So he didn't look like he had the stage experience and potential, but he didn't realize it.
What'd you think of Rashid?
Beautiful physique. I don't know how old he is. If he's young, he's got great potential. One guy I want to give a shout out to, man, is Lucas Weiler because, dude, I don't know. I think he's young. I think he's young. If that guy's young and he's got a brain in his head, he's going to do awesome shit.
I agree.
Physique's awesome.
I agree. He has physique, he has muscle, he has density.
Yeah.
It was a deep lineup, really.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was as, deep, I mean, regardless of last year's, shows or whatever, it was still a deep lineup. One last comment, of course, is, so where does Josh get in the mix at the Olympia? What happens with Josh Lenartowicz at the Olympia this year?
I think he could be third or fourth if he comes in harder.
Wow. John Hansen.
7 or 8.
Yeah, we forget about, the son of a bitch Dexter. You know what I mean? We go through the names and I'm like, Rolly, you know what I mean? Big, there's just so much that can happen at the Olympia.
Yeah.
So
if he nails it, I mean, obviously.
I agree.
If he nails it, he's amazing.
Well, that's like anyone.
Yeah. So I know that Josh, or at least I think that Josh is staying here for the next 6 weeks.
Your gym?
I don't know if he's staying in my gym, but if he stays in my gym, it's going to be a good thing. But if he's staying in Florida, so I've heard that he's going to be training with Dallas, and Dallas comes up to train at our gym. If that's the case, he will bring his best to the Olympia.
I have to say, Ben Pakulski has a ridiculously awesome gym. Great hospitality, loves bodybuilding, unlike most gyms.
And now that I'm retired, I can take all this energy and put it towards, now that I'm retired, I can put it on somebody else, right?
No, you won't. I see your daughter over there. She's going to drain you into anything.
Taking everything.
You have kids. Ben has kids. You're going to be dead tired.
I'm just looking forward to.
You got to say big because when she grows up.
Oh fuck! I'm going to be skinny, man. I'm going to be a swimmer. I take up curling or golfing or something. But yeah, no, man. I think Josh has a massive potential, and you got to stay focused, right? Like anything.
All right. That's the wrap with Ben Pac-Man Pakulski, retired. John Hansen, probably not retired. And I'm just a pencil neck.
Coming back.
So you may come back. With RXMuscle.com at the Tampa Pro Show. We'll see you at the Olympia in a few weeks. 212 finals. The smoke is cleared. And it turns out that last week's USA winner, Derek Lunsford, comes in here, first pro show,
Right.
and he comes out victorious. What's your assessment of his physique and his big win?
It was a huge win. He's 24 years old, going in his first pro show a week after he wins his pro card, and he wins. He's got a beautiful physique.
I wonder if they express mailed that pro card to him.
Yeah, right. He's got the small waist. He's got a great front double, real wide lats, good arms, good legs. But I thought his conditioning could have been better. I don't know how much weight he gained from his win last week.
Could his condition have been better, or was it because he was standing next to Jake Wilson, who looked like he'd been put through a cheese grater?
Yeah.
So was it perspective, or does he need to be tighter?
No, he needs to be tighter. He wasn't in top condition for his first pro
There was
show.
a criticism last week about that too, and he won the overall USA. I mean,
really?
People with a crucial eye said, fabulous, great, fabulous. Maybe it's because everyone's such a critic.
Yeah.
Not tight enough.
Yeah. Well, I could see how he could win, though, because he does have a great shape, he does have great proportions, he's got great size, and he had it better than Samy and Jacob, who were second and third.
Jacob, what you think of Jacob's physique, who only won his class last week,
Right.
And came in here his first pro show.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe 2 years ago at the USA he was like dead last, and never went to Kuwait, by the way, to get any muscle or any free food or free whatever else they give you, and ends up here in his first pro show. Amazing.
Yeah.
Deep 212 lineup, second place.
Yeah, amazing. Our friend Jose Raymond is his coach and brought him really into condition, brought him 3 pounds lighter than he was last week.
Looked 5 pounds bigger.
Yeah, and he looked 5 pounds bigger, especially
Do the math there. -3 + 5.
his hams, his glutes were really shredded.
Yeah.
I thought at the night show's upper body might have looked a little flat, and that
I
might
agree.
make the difference. Yeah.
Could be a little flat.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was flat or just so peeled. How full can you be?
Right.
Well, talking about full, veteran, winner of a lot of shows, Samy Hadad flies over from Bahrain. I don't think, Samy, you came in on Kuwait Airlines because you can't travel to the U.S. Qatar Airlines. There's an embargo against my favorite country in the Middle East, by your country. But he looks fabulous.
Yeah.
How's he end up third? I mean, you see him walking around here, and he looks like an open guy. He looks like a wheeler, with the pecs, the shoulders, the arms, the waist.
Right. That's a good comparison because he's got that same kind of muscle fullness and shape.
That you can't get. I mean, you just
Genetic, right?
Yeah.
And he's got it. And he looked like a pro up there. He looked like a veteran champion. So
where did he? How's he end up third? Is it condition? Is it like a glute show? Because he doesn't have the mega peeled glutes. They're lean, but Jake has the super striated glutes, and Lunsford's got, even though people criticize sometimes the condition, he's clearly got glutes and hams. Is that the deciding factor why Samy's gets bumped down?
I think he can bring up his back still. He needs more thickness in his back. He looks better from the front. He wasn't as peeled as Jacob was. And I don't think his overall beautiful shape is as good as Lunsford's. So
can he bring up his back? I mean, he's 40 now or third. I know he doesn't look it. He's like a Dexter.
Yeah.
I mean, Dexter brought up his back since 2012, as far as I'm concerned. Can Samy do it?
yeah, I think he could if he focuses on it. 40's not old anymore, not in bodybuilding.
Not just because you're over 50, dude. You're trying to gym up your.
Right.
In case any chicks are
I remember
around.
when I was 40, it wasn't young. I mean, it wasn't old. It wasn't old.
So he can do it.
Yeah, I think he could do
I
it.
think so too. So, and it's sad that he's not going to be at the Olympia. I don't think he's qualified because he's got an Olympia level physique. I mean, top three, all three guys have Olympia level physiques, and I'd like to see them all there because you never know.
I think he needs to win a show to go to the Olympia and have the confidence and do well.
Pretty tough to get to the Olympia. You got to win.
Yeah.
So there's the wrap up of the 212 from the Tampa Pro Show. John Hansen with Chris Aceto. We'll see you in 6 weeks at the Olympia. Oh, one more question because people are going to want to know. Where's Derek Lunsfeld fall or not fall at the Olympia?
Good question. He definitely needs to come in harder, but if he does, I think he could be top 6.
Top 6. Wow. 24 years old, top 6 to the Mr. Olympia. That's incredible. There you go. So John Hansen at 39 years old is making the prediction for 24-year-old Lunsfeld to come in the top 6 at the Olympia. I think Jose will have something to say about the whole entire show, especially since he's watching. Jose, you got 6 weeks. You got to gas it, and I know you're going to. Chris Aceto, John Hansen, RX Muscle.